One February morning, we children were sitting around the breakfast table when Dad announced that he was going to be away from home for a few days. He gave instructions, since I was 10 years old, to take care of the family while he was gone. I'll be in Springfield, Missouri, that's halfway across the country, but with telephones and all, we won't really be out of touch. It was through the telephone that we got the bad news. Dad had been stricken with appendicitis and could not operate. Peritonitis had probably already set in with the wartime shortages. There was no penicillin. It was just a matter of time until he would die. Mom put the telephone back on the wall and announced that we needed to pray hard. I crawled behind the couch and stayed there, praying for hours. 2 days passed and Dad continued about the same. We had to hear something from God, some word to help us hold on. Then that event took place which I'll never forget. 3 days after we learned of Dad's attack, a knock came at the door. I watched as Mother opened the door. To the chilly brightness of the February morning, there stood a man from the church. He was one who reminded me of a funeral director I had once seen, with his drawn features and doleful eyes. He stood there looking more sober than usual, fingering his felt hat, acting as if he were afraid to speak something that was on his mind. "What is it?" Mother demanded, never shy. Sister Cunningham, the gaunt man, finally blurted, "God gave me a dream of your husband coming home in a coffin." As I watched Mom's face, she thought for a moment and then she said, "Well, sir?" Mom's tone was kindly, but she spoke with a distinct firmness. "I do appreciate your coming here to tell me this. Hard as it is, I promise I'll ask God if the dream really is for him. With something this important, he'll tell me himself, won't he?" It was more of a statement than a question. And with that, Mom thanked the gentleman a second time and held the door open. She went on to prayer. "Is that really you, God? I promised to ask that we're really from you. Just let me know, that's all I ask." Now, Mother had such a believing relationship with her Heavenly Father that she fully expected him to answer her on such an important issue in a fatherly-like manner. No shadow of doubt. She left it with God and went to bed. Next morning, Mom put Janny into the high chair and then announced that she had some good news. "I had a dream last night," she said to Philly and me. We fell silent. "Well?" "In my dream, Dad came home, but it was on a train, and he was wearing his pajamas." And that's exactly what happened. We received word that Dad had recovered enough to want to return to California. He had trouble making arrangements because of the wartime military priorities, but through friends, he managed to get a berth on a Pullman sleeping car. So Dad arrived just as Mom had known he would, on a train, wearing his pajamas. At the station, he pulled a pair of trousers over the pajama bottoms. We must have been a sight. Walking down the station platform, supporting our still weak, shaky father, who shuffled along in bedroom slippers. Dad didn't care, and neither did we. He was home. Getting God's leading for someone else is tricky, Mom said. You can hear a confirming voice through another person, but if God has something important to tell you, he will speak to you directly. With that kind of family inheritance, it was not surprising that I too should feel the same call to go into all the world and preach the gospel.